First of all, we'd also like to thank you for the opportunity to present BDO's case and share with you details on exactly what happened, what we have done to date, and what we'll do going forward to help improve the service that we provide to our clients. I'd also like to introduce the team from BDO with me here, starting from Mr. Alvin Go, our legal advisor. We have Ricky Martin, who's the head of our Information Technology Group. Mr. Tovi Mendoza, who heads up the product management team, of which the ATM management is a part of. And then, of course, we have Peter Magdame, also from Transaction Banking Group, who, among many other functions, is in charge of the fraud management unit of BDO. As a general comment, since we talked about the data processing issue with BPI, we wish to state that any systems environment will always require some degree of human intervention. Intervention is required for a step requiring human judgment or a quality control, maintenance, or upgrade that is best performed by a person, not a machine. Given this fact, human error is inevitable. Automation is only an accepted means to minimize human error and its impact on a business or an operation. All systems environments have potential points of failure. The key to mitigating risk is to identify where these points of failure exist and have the requisite recovery procedures in place to kick in whenever failure occurs. All banks are dependent on technology heavily for the successful delivery of services to its clients. As a result, banks are always careful and geared towards addressing and resolving problems quickly whenever there is a failure. Key functions include tight documentation and record keeping, timely balance reconciliations, and the like. BDO adheres to the basic principles of quality control, ensuring a maker-checker arrangement for all transactions at any time. Going back to BDO's case, which concerns recent purported incidents of ATM skimming fraud, the bank assures the public that there's no cause for worry. ATM skimming fraud is common and affects ATMs and the cardholders of many banks. The recent events are related to 3 recent separate fraud events that have recently come to the bank's attention, and they affected 7 ATMs. The 7 ATMs are from 3 locations. The number of cases so far filed, and we've reviewed and handled, there are about 95 cases. And as a result, we have also disabled cards that we know have been compromised. The investigation of these cases is presently ongoing, and the numbers we've provided are subject to change. In addition, the data refers to complaints and issues validly filed through the bank channels. As a general process, we validate all complaints received and begin the process of rectification immediately once validated. To put this incident in perspective, the recent fraud events involved 7 ATMs out of a total of 3,700 for BDO, and that's 0.2% of the ATM population. Now, let me talk a little bit about skimming, Your Honor. Skimming is the unauthorized copying of the magnetic stripe information of ATM cards. The thin black stripe at the back of your cards, which stores the details of your card and is necessary for ATM transactions. Skimming is done through illegal devices that read or skim the magnetic stripe as transactions are being done. A second device is usually present to obtain the ATM PIN. In the Philippines, this is often a small pinhole camera that records the entry of a PIN during a transaction. The skimmed card details are then used to create fake cards, which is paired to the recorded PIN and used to perform unauthorized withdrawals or purchases. Skimming has been going on for quite a number of years already. The magnetic stripe is a 50-year-old technology, and attempts to fraud it are as old. However, new technology makes skimming and PIN camera devices very cheap, easy to produce and obtain. Fraudsters also do a lot of research and development. New methods of attack, such as what we'll show later, deep insert skimmers, which are very thin, small, and hard to detect, arrived on a constant basis, and often attempt to thwart whatever security measures we have implemented. The three incidents above are related to the new type of skimming device, as I said, called the deep insert. Once this insert is in the machine, once resting there, they can read cards virtually undetected and will not be visible through conventional anti-skimming protection modules. More importantly, they are also very easily installed and removed, with a process very similar to actions made by a client inserting an ATM card into the ATM machine. This new insert device is coupled with newer upgraded versions of the pinhole camera, with strong magnets that are capable of attaching to the pin pad shield. In terms of the extent of compromised ATMs, the number is very small. In a recent study of the Philippine banking industry, an informal study in the first quarter of 2017, there were less than 100 ATMs hit out of the 15,000 ATMs nationwide, around 0.5% of total ATMs in the country. While there's admittedly a general upward trend in the numbers, we have seen that recent fraud attempts in May and June. Generally, ATMs are safe to transact in. Now, Your Honor, what have we done, right? BDO continues to employ a number of measures. Some unique to us, of course, some of the others I'm sure the other banks are doing, to secure our cardholders' transaction. Firstly, the bank will reimburse all clients affected by unauthorized withdrawals by said point of compromises, POCs, subject to existing investigation and reimbursement processes. It is worth noting that this requires that customers file their disputes through the proper bank channels. Social media posts and activities will not be actionable from the bank side without a formal filing. And of course, card replacement will be free. Secondly, for customers proactively blocked, these cardholders may proceed to their branch of account for a free card replacement. Thirdly, on preventing deep insert skimmers, BDO is presently deploying an upgrade to its ATM machines. We have the solution. That's probably the one thing that maybe we would like to be careful in terms of sharing it, maybe later in a more closer session. But as of writing, over 1,000 of the bank's ATMs, including the 7 point of compromises we mentioned, have been upgraded. The target implementation of the rest of the bank's ATM fleet is the fourth quarter of this year. It takes time to do this, backslash yung machine and then. Additionally, the bank also deploys the following to protect its cardholders on a, what we call this is business as usual basis. Number one, live real-time fraud system to track our customers' transactions and determine suspicious or off-pattern withdrawals and purchases. Peter here is in charge of that unit, fraud management team. Fully staffed 24/7 fraud team that does the monitoring of the system and also investigates cases that are filed with BDO. The fraud team can also anticipate a potential skimming attack and block cards proactively so that the fraudster will have no access to cardholder funds. Number three, physical and software security measures, such as sensors to detect traditional skimming devices that are being attached on card readers, pin pad covers, to hide the PIN as customers transact. Number four, security personnel, both in the branches and in off-site ATM locations that check our ATMs for suspicious devices attached to the machine, as well as people who act so suspiciously around the machine. Number five, regular ATM security reminders in traditional and social media with a focus on skimming. And lastly, the migration to EMV. We heard that being talked about. BDO has been migrating customers to the newer EMV as early as as early as 2016. The bank is on track on to its 2018 timeline for the migration. That said, any bank card which uses magnetic stripe to transact, which covers all banks in the Philippines, by the way, and most of the world, is still vulnerable to this type of threat. Given this, BDO would like to reiterate that these purported skimming cases are isolated in nature and that the handling of customer issues is a business as usual process for the bank. The action points mentioned demonstrate BDO's commitment to protect our customers and their transactions. As a message, final message, I'd like to say as well that having a broad network of ATMs provides benefits to banking clients. Convenience, access options, alternative to physical brick and mortar branches. Skimming and similar compromise incidents are expected to happen. It's nothing out of the ordinary, it's BAU. That is the price we pay for providing the above benefits, conveniences to our clients. We'd like to reiterate that what we already said to the public, there's no cause for worry. Skimming accidents can happen, but are generally a small % of total transactions. Banks, the BSP, and the authorities are aware of these incidents and have all taken measures and continue to take measures to prevent said cases from happening. Detect it as they happen and investigate the fraud events immediately. And while we would like to reassure the public that all efforts are being done by banks to protect its cardholders and their transactions, cardholders can do their part by being vigilant when performing their transactions and reporting cases of suspicious devices and people around the ATM machines that they transact in.